Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 to show you a fun new project. Whew! Anyway, hopefully you guys have had a great day. I actually spent the entire day in the studio. I have this little problem. I know I have this problem. It is not easy for me to say, but I do say it often, and I don't learn from this problem, is when I get an idea in my head, I have to put it out on paper, and I get like 19 ideas in my head, and then my whole table is a hot mess. So my table is a whole hot mess right now because I was trying to put all of the thoughts in my head on paper so I wouldn't forget. So today I specifically said I am not doing anything until I finish this one project. And I am so excited to say that I finished it, and now I can move on to another project that I started and will be able to hopefully finish or get 99% done tomorrow. So that was my full day. So I'm super excited. I did get one of the pillow gifts completely done for the retreat, and you guys are going to love it. It kills me not to show everybody what I prepare ahead of time, but I can't. It's a surprise. Good evening, Heather. Good evening, Valerie. If you're just logging on, say hi so I know you're here. Today's project is kind of a fun fold, but it is a super easy fun fold, and I kind of named it the circle fold. I don't really know what the name of it is. My friend Bev actually sent me a TikTok video of it this morning, and I don't know much about TikTok. I actually asked Peyton to come over to show me how to do them, so maybe I will venture into doing them. But it's just a little smidgen of all of the pieces just quickly put together. So there's no dimensions, there's no sizes. I actually don't even remember the lady's name. And I watched it a couple times, and I think I was able to figure out how she put it together. So that's what we're going to be making tonight. Oh, thank you, Heather. I actually worked really, really hard to make the pillow gifts like spectacular and fun. So I'm glad you guys like them. Okay, let's point you over so we can get crafting. Let me make sure we are live on my iPad, and there we are. So celebration is almost over, so I thought I would bring in some of the designer series paper that is free with a $50 order. I use this a ton. I honestly can't even remember how many sheets or how many packs that I've used. This isn't supposed to be in there. It's supposed to be in a different pack, but that's okay. We're just going to leave it there for now. So my favorite piece is this side right here, and I don't have much of it left. I literally have a couple scraps, so we are going to be using this because I found some scraps. It's just absolutely gorgeous paper. This one, I don't know if I have a full sheet of that. Let me see if I do, because I want to show you. I think it's this one. No, not that one, this one. So it's the one with the houses on the opposite side, but when you flip this over, I've seen some phenomenal cards where they fussy cut these out and use that as your focal piece. Absolutely beautiful. But this paper is so much fun. If you haven't had a chance to play with it, I would definitely get it before it's gone. Hello, Aunt Tammy. Hello, Stephanie. Is anybody else just logging on? Aunt Tammy, if Uncle Dan's there, tell him I said hi. Okay. Oh, before I show you the card, I'm going to bring in, this is the dies that I used, and I actually did forget the stamp set, so let me walk in there. It's sitting right on my table. Even though my table's a hot mess. Bev came over today, and she was like, wow, you have a mess in here. I'm like, yes, I absolutely do, like always. So I'm using the Rings of Nature stamp set, and I think I used the stems and these flowers in another Facebook Live, but those are the only two that I'm using out of this set. And I used the second largest and the third largest circles to cut out my little circle pieces. So those are the stamps and dies I used. So let me bring in the card now. So this is the card, and why I called it the Fun Circle card is because this is how it closes. So we're going to open up the ribbon, and it opens like this. Super easy, and it is super fun. So I am going to teach you guys how to make this one. So I did put the dimensions of everything that we're using before I went live. and I will go over them for you as well. So let's push that aside and bring in our first one. So our first one is the Night and Navy. So you're going to need a piece of Night and Navy that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You don't have to score this because it's not double. So this is just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We have a piece of basic white, and this measures 7 inches by 5 1/4. So again, that's 7 inches by 5 1/4, and I scored it at 3. So when you score it at 3, it's actually going to be opposite. It's going to be sideways. So, but once you fold it, you'll know it's going to go like this. And these two pieces will eventually get layered together, and that is going to make your perfect size card. So those are those measurements. You're going to need another piece of coordinating cardstock. I picked Night and Navy as well. This is 2 3/4 by 5. I didn't think about that for a second, but it's 2 3/4 inches by 5. And then our designer series paper is 2 1/2 inches by 4 3/4. So everything is just a 1/4 of an inch smaller. And if you have the little guide that I made everybody for the July retreat, you can definitely use that for some measurements as well. I did forget, I think, to put this piece, this little scrap in. So this is 5 inches long, and it's by 3/4 of an inch wide. So it's just a little scrap. And then we have our 2 circles. We have our Night and Navy, and then our basic whites. So that's really all you need to create this super duper fun fold. So we're going to set our card base aside. Even though it's just one piece, we're going to set that aside because we don't want to accidentally glue it together before we attach everything. So what we're going to do first is grab your glue. Let me find one that is full. And we are going to go ahead and glue this piece down to our coordinating color. I'm just going to line it up on all 4 edges. There we go. This one is super easy. Now we're going to go ahead and flip this over, and we're going to go ahead and attach it to our basic white piece. And you just want to make sure, get it as lined up as well as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Now this piece, you could use the bird side, but I actually think I'm going to flip it over so it has a little bit of a contrast to it. So it doesn't even matter if this side is upside down because we're going to have the blue side poking out. This one is going to go right here. Just kind of make sure it's even. Oops, I just wiggled it. Perfect. And now we can concentrate on a little bit of stamping. I'm going to bring in my grid paper just so I don't go off the edge. So for this one, I'm going to bring in Night and Navy and crushed curry and the Evening Evergreen. So I'm going to start with Evening Evergreen, and I have the little leaves down at the bottom. So I'm just going to stamp these twice. One on that side and one on this side. And then we're done with the Evening Evergreen for this card. So I'm going to open up the crushed curry. And I just want to triple check and make sure my flowers are clean because my original card had Poppy Parade, and I don't want to cross-contaminate my colors. So I'm going to ink up the crushed curry, and I'm just going to come and hover over it, and you can kind of see the Evening Evergreen little dots poke through, and that's where you want to stamp. I'm going to do this to the other side. You're just going to hover over until it looks like it's right in the center. There we go. Looks pretty good to me. We're done with the crushed curry. And now I'm going to open up the Night and Navy. And I'm going to do Just For You. So the Just For You, I am not going to quite center it. I'm going to kind of come over to the left a hair and stamp it kind of towards the left. And I'll show you why in a second. So we are done with our Night and Navy. We're going to go ahead and glue these 2 pieces together. There we go. while that is drying, I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure on it just to make sure it dries well. And I want to bring in my score tool, my scoring board. So I'm just going to set my circle in the wherever. It doesn't even really matter. And I'm just going to push it all the way up to the top. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to try to get the Just For You kind of even. And I'm just going to grab one of these little edges. I think that's going to be good. And I'm just going to come in and score that. It is going through a lot of paper, so you might have to push a little bit hard, but once you get into the groove, you'll feel it. Put that down so I don't lose it. And hopefully you can see that score mark right along the edge. So now we're just going to bend that back. And now your Just For You is a little bit more centered. I could have gone over to the right a tad bit, but I think it's going to be perfect. Okay, so let's fold that back open. And I want to grab a piece of tear and tape. I'm just going to put a piece of tear and tape right along to that score mark. We can take that off. And I didn't measure how much ribbon I'm going to use, so I'm just going to pull a nice amount off. I usually don't pull a lot off. I usually measure, but for this card, we're not going to do that. So I'm going to take the right side, and I don't want too much on that side. I want more on the left. Hopefully you guys can see that there's more on one side than there is on the other. Actually, hold on. We want it the opposite. We want more side on the right. We want more ribbon on the right-hand side. So there's a little bit on the left, and there's lots on the right. This is, so when we flip it over, this is how we're going to tie the bow. Okay, since that's there, I want to add another piece of tear and tape right along that ribbon, just to secure it. So we can pull this off. And I'm going to bring in my card base, and you can put this wherever you want. You can put it up top. Oh, let's do that. You could put it down at the bottom. You could put it in the middle, but I think I want to put it up top. So the tear tape is on the back, so when I go to push this in, it's going to attach. So now your ribbon is fully attached around. So what I'm going to do now is take this, bring in our card base. Remember, we set it aside because we didn't want to glue this down in case we forgot to put the ribbon underneath. Then it wouldn't be able to close and tie. So I'm going to come in and put some adhesive, and I'm going to put some right up underneath there and a bunch on that back of the ribbon. So when you lay this down, you now have your card. Look how easy that was. I bet you guys were thinking this is going to be way too complicating, but it isn't. You do want to hold this down for a few minutes. I know that the Tombow does give you a little bit of wiggle room, but on this card, you definitely want to make sure it is dry before you go tie your ribbon. And now you can bring your ribbon over. That was definitely too much ribbon, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. So then pull this down a little bit, tie it a little bit tighter. There you go. Now you can trim some of this excess off. And your card is done. Very minimal stamping, and you get to see both sides of the designer series paper, and it's just a little note just for you. And when you open it, it opens like this. Super easy and super cute. I'm so glad Bev sent this to me. Let's tie that again, and then if we have enough time, we have two more. We'll definitely have enough time to make at least one more. Okay, so there's that one. Let's do the Poppy Parade. So again, these are the same measurements. I'm not going to go over them again, but you can rewatch the video, or I did post it before we went live. We have our basic white, so we're going to fold that, give it a good crease, and then we can start attaching everything. You could definitely whip all of these cards out in no time. Definitely super easy. And this one I'm using Poppy Parade, the same designer series paper, but I just changed the design on the fronts. This can get attached. There we go. And, oh, yeah, we're going to use that side because I love that side of the paper. I have no idea why, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So there. And then we can set that aside and let it dry. Bring in. And I'm going to do pretty much the same colors. I'm going to do Evening Evergreen for the little stems. And I'm going to stamp it twice. I guess the only difference is I'm going to use Poppy Parade for the sentiments. Or I'm sorry, for the flowers. And I should have left the Evening Evergreen open because I'm going to do that for the sentiments. So hover over, stamp. Can you tell I just re-inked this bad boy? So bright and beautiful. And then I'm going to bring in, oh, you know what? Let's live on the edge a little bit because there is Night and Navy in this paper. Let's do Night and Navy. Missed the Y a little bit. Oops. And I took it with me. There we go. So let's get this out of the way. And you could definitely use some of our fast fuse, not fast fuse, our Seal Plus. And that will make it where you don't have to hold it for a quick second. And then bring in your scoreboard. I would tell you the exact place to score it, but it depends on where you put it at on your scoreboard. So you just want to make sure that Just For You is kind of lined up, and then kind of just guide, like just guess where you're going to want to put that score mark. Oops, I went off the track a little bit. There we go. We're going to fold this. Flip it over, grab some tear tape. And you could probably use mini glue dots as well for this. I just thought tear tape was just as easy. So let's pull some of our ribbon off. And again, we want to have it shorter on the left side. Put that down. I'm going to grab a little bit more. I'm just going to attach it right to the side. This is what's going to hold it to your card base. And let's do this one. So we have one that is closer to the bottom. We have one that's closer to the top. So let's do this one in the middle. So you just want to fold that a little bit. Put the back side in. And then you can close it. And you could probably even tack this down if you wanted to. That actually might be a good idea. Just grab a mini glue dots and you can tack this down and it'll hold it in place. So when you go to put your adhesive on, it's not wagging all over the place. And you do want a good amount. Put some underneath that flap. Bring in your card base. And then we're going to set that down. Try to even it up the best you can. And give it a good press. These cards are so fun. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stop making them. So easy. So then, still got a little bit too much ribbon, but that's okay. I'd rather have too much than not enough. There we go. All done. We have 2 cards done, and I don't know what time it is, but I'll just go ahead and quickly put the last one together. It really is not a hard card at all. This is the same one that I did originally, so the same designer series paper. I love the little mushrooms and the butterflies on there. They're so fun. Have you guys been able to play with this designer series paper? If you haven't, definitely a blast. There we go. We're going to do the same side. I like the stripes. That's going to go right here. And then tiny bit of Stampin'. And there really isn't, and you probably would only actually have to do the sentiment. You really wouldn't even have to put the flowers at the bottom of it. I just did to give it a little bit extra pizzazz, but I think it would be just beautiful with a sentiment on there. I'm going to keep that open because I'm going to go ahead and do the Just For You. I did this a little out of order, but hopefully it will work. Just because I had the ink open. Let's grab the Poppy Parade. Ink this up. Hover over. There we go. Not much to this card, but it is definitely a wow card. I would definitely consider it a wow card. Bring in your inbox or your scoreboard. Just going to score this. And even if it moves or whatever, as long as you get a good enough line where you can bend this, that's really all you need. Let's see if this time I can get my ribbon right. Let's measure this. So there is 5.5. There's 11. Let's do about 16 inches. Let's see if that works. I don't know if my math was right, but it's close enough. So we're going to do a little bit more on the left side. Tear tape on there. And I actually think I liked it up at the top. I think that might be my favorite. So I'm just going to slide this in. Make sure it's right in that crease before I close it. Just for safety of the time, I'm just going to put a bit of adhesive right there just to tack that down. And now we can put adhesive on the whole back. Make sure to get some under that little tag so it doesn't come popping up. Grab your base. And then line it up. There we go. All done. All 3 cards. Oh yeah, that's plenty. About 16, 18 inches of ribbon. I think that worked pretty good. Not much that we have to trim off on that guy. So there you go. So this is Poppy Parade. We did the majority of them in Poppy Parade. And then I did pull in one of the other colors that are in that suite, and it's Night and Navy. So we have Night and Navy and Poppy Parade. So there is your super duper fun fold. Hopefully you guys liked it. It was super easy, and hopefully you guys are inspired to get out into your craft room and make something. So that is your live for tonight. I will be out and about the entire weekend, so if anybody needs anything, please feel free to reach out. You can always get me over email, text message, instant message. You can even stop by the house. I don't really go anywhere, so I'm always home. Anyway, if you need anything, please feel free to reach out, and we will talk to you guys soon. I will see everybody. Oh, today is Thursday. I think I said for the Tuesday live. I'm a hot mess. I don't know what day it is. I will see everybody on Tuesday for another live. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.